Peace, family. It's your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome to the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. It is time for the War on Gaza report. Every single day here on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel, we break down every development, every decision, every statistic, every available and significant bit of information connected to Israel's ongoing war on Gaza. And as we say, it is not a war on Hamas. It's not a war against terrorism. It's a war against the Palestinian people, and specifically the Palestinian people inside of the Gaza Strip. And so for that reason, it is our commitment to covering this story every single day. I got to tell you, family, when I first started doing this, I never anticipated that I'd be on day 216. Never crossed my mind. Honest to God, it never crossed my mind that we would be on day 216. But we are. We are. And that's okay. That we're surprised. It's not okay that we're at war, but it's okay that we're surprised by it because we have responded to that surprise with consistency. And I'm not talking about myself right now. I'm talking about you all out there on the channel. Thank you for watching it every single night and for giving us, I think, an important perspective, an important voice, important community, an important intervention into the conversation on Gaza. You all have created that space. You all have made this platform matter. And if I don't say it often enough, and I try to, let me say it again. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you all. I see a couple of you saying that you've caught us live for the first time tonight. I appreciate that too. We're here with the War on Gaza report every night at 10:15, which is followed by Night School at 10:30 every single night, Monday to Friday here on the channel. Night School appears, and 7 days a week we have the War on Gaza report. All right, y'all. We begin in Gaza where we always begin, and that is with the numbers. As of today, at least 34,904 people have been killed, and 78,514 people have been wounded in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. 34,904 people. We are quickly approaching 35,000. And based on what Netanyahu is planning, that number may come sooner than later. We also have 78,514 Palestinians wounded since October 7th. That number is not a small number or an insignificant one. Wounded doesn't just refer to people who are shot or people who, are badly hurt. There's a it does, but it's a disproportionate number among the Palestinian population we found that have been who have had legs and arms amputated. We have seen almost an unprecedented number of limbs lost in the Gaza Strip. And of those people who are killed, so many are children. More than 1% of the child population of Gaza has been destroyed, been eliminated, been killed. 2/3 of the dead population of Palestinians in Gaza are women and children. All of these things speak to the significance, the validity, the necessity even of calling this a genocide. It's not an insignificant number when we talk about also the number of Israelis or the death toll in Israel, I should say, from Hamas's October 7th attack. That number is 1,139. When the war began, after October 7th, people said it's thousands, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000. It's 1,139. It's a steady number. There are also dozens of people who remain kidnapped. And I pray for the safe release of all innocent people because we need to see that outcome as well. Let's talk about what has gotten us to these numbers recently. Right now in Rafah, which if you're watching this for the first time, we talk about this every night, but I want to make sure people understand. Rafah is a city in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. Gaza is about 25 miles long, about 5 miles wide. It's not a big place. And Rafah is a city at the south, near the bottom, very close to Egypt. In fact, the Rafah border is the border that people use to get through southern Gaza into Egypt. There are other borders as well, the Kerem Shalom, the Eretz crossing, etc. Right? But Rafah is an important city right now for a very particular reason. as the Israeli military forced Palestinians out of the north and even out of the central parts, as they destroyed their homes and really erased much of the built environment of Palestine, they were pushed south. Now, one read of that is that they were pushed south to eventually kick them out and send them into the Sinai, back into Egypt. Another theory is that they just wanted them contained in one place for other reasons. Either way, they're in Rafah. Rafah is a small city. It has maybe 250,000 people in it. 250,000 people. But now it has 1.5 million people in it. And over the last few months, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that Israel is going to invade Rafah, a ground invasion. When you start talking about ground invasions, troops and tanks, you're talking about severe amounts of violence. And according to every person who has watched this objectively or even not so objectively, a ground invasion in Gaza is going to be a humanitarian nightmare. It is going to be a humanitarian crisis. And so it is of the utmost importance that we avoid an invasion of Rafah. The ceasefire agreements, the calls for peace, the truces, all this language, not just from Hamas and Israel, but from the global community, has largely hinged upon a commitment, an urgent commitment to not invading Rafah. But Netanyahu has said, even if we have a peace deal, even if we strike a truce, no ceasefire deal will be accepted if it means we can't invade Rafah. Now, what kind of ceasefire deal can you have that allows you to still invade people? So a few days ago, we saw Israel take over the Rafah border and create some major blockages for the entry of humanitarian aid and maybe even the entry and exit of Palestinian people. Although I suspect the Palestinian that wants to go to Egypt will be allowed to go to Egypt. They just ain't gonna get allowed back in. So that's one development. And then more recently, we've seen heavy combat in Rafah. Hamas fighters have fired rockets and mortars and detonated explosive devices in response to, let's be clear, Hamas is responding to, in this case, Israeli troops and Israeli tanks that are pushing deeper and deeper into the city. Again, it's a city that holds 250,000 people. Normally it has 1.5 million. And the people aren't there for fun. They're not here for vacation. They're not even here for temporary escape. These people have had their homes destroyed. 1.7 million people in Gaza right now out of the population of 2.2 million. Again, I'm gonna say that again. Out of a population of 2.2 million, 1.7 million people in Gaza are unhoused. Their homes have been destroyed. They've been dispossessed of their land and they have been rendered homeless. Now, just as much as people have been flying into Rafah in the last 7 months of fighting, particularly maybe 3-4 months ago, we're now starting to see an urgency to leave Rafah. The problem is leaving is not easy, but as of today, an estimated 80,000 Palestinians have fled Rafah, and we got thousands of more who are trying to leave because they know that an Israeli military ground invasion is going to lead to extraordinary violence and really just a crisis that may be incomparable in humanitarian terms. I'm talking about inside, not in the world. We've seen worse humanitarian crises in lots of places. So for those of you who are down with the oppression derbies. But in terms of what we've seen in Gaza, it hasn't been this bad. And Gaza is persistently and consistently bad. The humanitarian crisis of lack of food insecurity, of housing insecurity, of the lack of potable water. These are consistent problems in Gaza. But it's been very clear that there's no humanitarian aid happening inside of Rafah if the Israeli army is there, and the Israeli army is there. By the way, we all know a couple of days ago, President Biden said that the United States won't be supplying weapons for a full-scale attack on Rafah. For the first time this week, no munitions from the United States were delivered to Israel. Wow. But guess what? Israel said, we got all the weapons we need. We don't need another nickel from you or another bullet from you, President Biden. We can invade Rafah and create the humanitarian crisis on our own. Netanyahu has basically said Israel now stands by itself and we're fine that way. There'll be more information on that. I'm going to break down Joe Biden's position as well as Netanyahu's response in night school, which starts in about 2 minutes. So hang with me, y'all. But I wanted to at least thank you all again for supporting the War on Gaza report every day. And I want to give one more piece of information. Later today, and by later today, I mean tomorrow here in the United States, but in Palestine, it's already 5:30 a.m. So tomorrow afternoon, the UN General Assembly, the United Nations General Assembly, is expected to vote on a resolution that would grant new rights and privileges to Palestine. And that, again, will call on the UN Security Council to favorably reconsider Palestine's request for full UN membership. As you know, they tried it on April 18th, and the United States vetoed it. Most of the world said yes. Most of the world said Palestine can have UN membership. America said no. And because America is a permanent member on the Security Council, all they got to do is veto it and it's gone. Israel has worked to stop it. And the United States has been right behind them. The U.S. Deputy Ambassador to the UN, Robert Wood, said earlier today that the Biden administration remains opposed to Palestinian membership. Now, what's interesting, again, is the Palestinian application on April 18th got 12 votes, yes, 2 abstentions from Switzerland and the UK. So 12 yes, 2 abstain, and 1 no. But the 1 no was the United States. And so once again, Palestine is being denied access to self-determination because of America. It's a direct correlation. We can't deny it. But there's a new round of tries, a new round of negotiations, and hopefully a new outcome. We'll find out. Anyway, family, thank you for watching the War on Gaza report. I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting what we do here every single day here on the channel. I ask that you all hit the like button if you can. Hit the subscribe button if you have never before subscribed to the channel. Check it out. Hit the subscribe button. Also hit that bell on the top. That little bell gives you access to the daily content. Gives you access to the reminders. Gives you access to the conversations. Gives you access to notifications that we're going live. Sometimes we do stuff like office hours when you least expect it. But most importantly, family, not most importantly, most importantly, spread the word. Spread the word. Share with your family, share with your friends, share with your comrades, share with your political debate partners. That there's a space for dialogue, a space for information. When you see the videos, whether it's the War on Gaza report or other things, make sure you share them with everybody in your circle, because part of how we build this channel, part of how we grow the work that we're doing is to radically reshape the media landscape. And that comes from having conversations like these in spaces like this. So I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your support. If you want to support us differently, you can also join the channel, hit the join button and become a monthly subscriber to the channel. That allows us to invest in the channel, to build it, and to create and to support independent media productions. And if you want to go a different route and you don't want to go directly to YouTube for super chats and for super stickers and for, donations or memberships, you can just go right to Cash App. Right to Cash App or Venmo. You Cash App $MLHTV or Venmo at MLHTV. Both spaces will allow you to directly support the channel in any way you want. Right now, we have a War on Gaza report. And if everybody watching the War on Gaza report were to donate $2, if everybody watching were to just go on Cash App right now or Venmo right now and just Cash App or Venmo $2, we'd have the resources necessary to produce a week of War on Gaza content. If everybody watching right now would have just Cash App or Venmo $2. So we asked for your support, but if you can't, we understand. The most important thing is that you watch, that you engage, and that you share. All right, family. We'll talk soon. I see this question here from Nix 2525. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, Nix 2525, because you posted a question, and and I want to respond, but we're late for the night school. So could you send that question? I'm not asking you to send $10 more. Just go over to night school and post that same question, and I promise you I'll respond tonight. In fact, I'll respond immediately. You'll be the first thing we do on night school, which starts in 2 minutes. Let's go. See y'all later. Peace.